greatest filmmakers India has ever seen, Mr. Satyajit-Ray. And she says, yeah, I must see his cinema. I said, yes, you must, because without that you will be poorer. What you tell your children, they say you tell your grandchildren. That's what the Jewish wisdom says. That's how icons live. My memory about this giant, one of India's greatest gems, is of a cold winter morning in New Delhi during one of the film festivals. I had gone with a film of mine called Saransh, and I was with Anupam Kher when this very tall, elegant looking man, whom we knew to be one of the greatest sons that India had produced, who walked up to us with great humility, and he whispered, "Are you the Zafar the Terrible of Mumbai? You're very angry," he keeps on, he said to me. "Why are you so angry?" And before I could answer him, he said, "Good, keep that anger alive." That was my brief encounter with him. I must say that there has been a kind of a neurosis there in my part of the world, on the western coast of India. There are many who saw him as a threat, but there were a few of us who woke up to his genius. And I must say, I woke up to his cinema with Mr. Chatterjee's first film called Pather-Panchali, was his first film, which I happened to see here in Kolkata in those troubled days when it was told that it's not safe to walk on the streets because of the Naxalite movement. And that movie made a very special place in my heart. And I felt that he was not merely a man who spoke about rural India. I saw his films later on. In fact, as late as 3 months ago in my office in Mumbai, I insisted that the young filmmakers there see most of his films, because I feel that if you want to go ahead, you have to go back into your rich heritage and explore and excavate our glorious past. The images that erupted from his consciousness, the perfume of that filmmaker still lingers. It's not easy to keep memories of filmmakers or entertainers alive, especially in this age and time.
ভালোবাসা জানাচ্ছি মঞ্চে যারা উপস্থিত আছেন তাদের শ্রদ্ধা এবং ভালোবাসাও জানাই। আজকে সত্যি কথা বলতে কি বলার মতন কিছু নেই। সত্যজিৎ রায়ের ছবি দেখার মতো, প্রত্যেকটা ছবি মনে হয় এক একটা শিক্ষা পেলাম এক একটা ছবি থেকে। আর সুন্দর কি যে হতে পারে সেই কথাটাই বলা, যে কোনো অবস্থায় সৌন্দর্য কিন্তু কখনো হারার নেই। আর প্রতি বছরই জন্মদিন আসে, জন্মদিনের পর একটা জন্মদিনের পর আর একটা জন্মদিন আসে, আর একটা জন্মদিনের পর আর একটা জন্মদিন আসে। তাই কখনো মনে হয় না, প্রথমে মনে হয়েছিল প্রথমবার যখন জন্মদিনে আসলাম মানিকদা চলে যাবার পর, তখন চোখে একটু জ্বর এসেছিল, কিন্তু আজ আর আসে না। আজ মনে হয় মানুষ অমর হয় তার কর্মের দ্বারা, তাই মানিকদা অমর হয়ে আছেন তার কর্মের দ্বারা। আবার জন্মদিন আসবে, আবার আমি আসবো। নমস্কার, ধন্যবাদ।
I have to go back into memories of working with Rai, memories of conversations with Rai. That's going to take a long, long time because there are many memories. I remember, for instance, that in those days, I'm talking about 1969, when 1970, when Pratitwandi was released, film releases were not as elaborate as they are today. They were simple affairs with a few people from the press. And the release of Pratitwandi was in this hall at 11 o'clock one morning in 1970. So that's a very fond memory. Today's this celebration that PC Chandra is organizing over, I think, 2 weeks is very, very commendable that they are doing this because it is necessary to keep the work of Rai alive. It is necessary to continually evaluate his work, not just praise, but really evaluate, maybe criticize, and determine how his work is relevant today. Mahesh was talking about telling his daughter Alia to watch Rai's films. I remember not so long ago, চেন্নাইতে একজন সাংবাদিক একটা অনুষ্ঠান করেছিলেন আমার সঙ্গে সত্যজিৎ রায়ের ছবি নিয়ে কথোপকথন. A journalist was doing a session in Chennai, talking to me about Rai's films. So we did the session. Then a journalist asked me, look, I want to ask you some questions. I want to do a piece. So I said, yeah, fine, go ahead. So she said, okay, the first question is, what kind of films does Satyajit-Ray make? So I said, there's a little problem. He doesn't make any films anymore because he's dead. So, you know, that unfortunately is the kind of level of awareness today about the work of some of the great masters. So I think what is being done on his birth anniversary is very commendable, but this needs to be part of a larger effort, just as with, let's say, Shakespeare or Rabindranath Tagore or other greats. It is necessary to continuously see, think about, reevaluate, criticize. Otherwise, just one function in the year, every year, is not going to do it. This tradition that he started is going to die if this kind of reevaluation is not done. But then again,
I know this is a special occasion. Every year we celebrate the 2nd of May. It's sort of scarred in our memory, collective memory. I will not talk about what Ray means to the cinema in general in India, because a lot has been said about that. I wish to be much, much more personal. Ray, I've just acted in one film of Ray, Shima Bhatt. It was shot in 70, released in 71. But he remains a living person. I cannot ever think of Ray in past tense. I mean, whenever I discuss, there have been any number of television channels where we were supposed to discuss Ray. I always say Ray is this, Ray is that, never in past tense. He is living in my mind all the time. And though I've worked in just one film, but I also used to be advertising like Shundari's. And we used to do a lot of ad films and TV commercials and corporate movies. We would go down to Bombay. So it was a learning process while we were acting in the film. I don't know about Sundar, but I did learn a lot of things. Because I knew the rudiments of filmmaking at that time. We were doing ad films, so we used the use of lenses at that time. Though the lenses have changed now. The configurations have changed with digital cameras. But, and watching him, and the script making, the tightness, the brevity of words, use of dialogues. I write now, I've written 4 books. If I have, and I'm told my dialects are pretty smart, if I've learned anything at all, it is from Ray's films. The dialects always there. And he always said one thing: you show less than is desired. There was one shot in Singapore, I was watching the ceiling fan, and it was shot for about 1.5, 2 minutes. He had a zoom lens, and he had didn't have cranes in those days. So a camera was mounted as if POV from the ceiling fan.